right, we're going to talk about something that is very handy for pen testers. All right, everybody knows about exploit database. If you don't, this is just going to be a quick little get up to speed for you. Exploit database has tons of exploits, and there's a lot of them that have exploit code. So a Python script or something to actually exploit the vulnerability that is on that particular software. Like say if we look at, let's see, we can look at just any of these really. So like if you run across something that's running FlowWise 3.0.4, there's a remote code execution for for that software. So if we go in here, it's going to tell you about it, and it's going to give you, here's the script. Okay, so I mean, it's simple as that. So it's very handy. But now a lot of times when you're pen testing, you may not have access to the internet. You might be stuck someplace where you don't have it. And that's where this comes in. In Kali, there's a tool that's installed by default that not many people know about. It's called Searchsploit. Okay, so if we type in just Searchsploit, and it's spelled just the way it sounds. Okay, if we just type that in and hit enter, it gives us a menu of what we can use. And if we scroll up, there's not a lot more up there. It's just telling you Searchsploit options, then you got term 1, term 2, all the way to term whatever. So here's some examples. We'll just kind of look at it real quick. Searchsploit, AFD, Windows, local. Okay. It's pretty straightforward. You're looking for a particular set of terms. You're looking for AFD, which is a software package, Windows, which is the platform it's running on, and local, meaning a local exploit. Right here, the second one, -T, is the type. So you're looking for a type that runs on Oracle and Windows. Okay, so you kind of get the gist here, I'm hoping. So let's look at this real quick. Let's type in, if you type in -H, you get the, or --help, you get the same menu. So let's just try it here. Searchsploit and Apache. Okay, so here is everything it found with Apache in it. Okay. So that's a lot of stuff. And the thing that's pretty cool is if you look over here, you'll get a path. Okay. And that is telling you where the exploit is actually at in Kali. Okay, so yes, the exploits are actually installed in Kali. So if you're pen testing and don't have internet, access to the actual internet to get the exploit database, you can just pull the exploit right from this tool. So real quick, there's a couple things we probably need to do before we get started. And one is Searchsploit -H, or -U rather. Yeah, I think it's the capital U. Nope, it's the lowercase u. You want to update it, and it will actually update the exploit scripts and everything. I've already done this, so that's why it like finished super fast. But it goes out. You should probably do this once a week. It goes out and it grabs all the current information from from the system and installs it on your computer. So let's look at a few things here. Now let's say we had we were wanting to look at Windows stuff or Linux. Okay, if we type in Linux, it's going to give us a lot of information. There's a lot of stuff in here for Linux. All right, so I mean, it's pages of this stuff. So like, oh, here's, bind. I mean, this, bind has always been vulnerable for stuff. See if we can find something in here for remote code execution. See if we can see anything that's RCE. It kind of makes it hard when you're scrolling through like this. But what if we typed in multiple terms? Let's see. I don't know if this will work. Let's try it. Oh, look, it did. But it's for force. That's what it's finding. It's not like looking for anything. So maybe if we type in remote. Remote command execution right here for zero shell. All right, and this is on Linux. It's for Linux and remote, and then here's the script for it that you would need to run. Or if it's not a script, it may give you a text explanation as to what you need to do to exploit it, which is pretty cool. Let's see what we got up here. Okay, WUFTPD. Here is a remote buffer overflow. Remote command execution right here. Okay, so what's really cool with this is if we pay attention to this right here, let's copy this. And let's scroll up until we get to the beginning of this section. Maybe scrolling for a while. Oh, there we go. I'm going to assume that this is in the standard path, which is user share. Let's see. Ah. Okay, and then let's paste in what we just typed or copied. 348.c. Okay, so here's all of the exploits that are in there. So what we want to do now is let's actually look at that exploit. It was 348.c. And there's the actual exploit. Right there. 348C, Linux, WUFTB, D, remote root exploit. And gives you some information probably about who wrote it and everything. But then here is the actual C code to run the exploit. Some of these you may have to compile, some you may not, like a Python script, you're not going to have to compile, but with C, obviously you would. But that's the exploit to run code remotely on that FTP server because of the fact it was vulnerable. So this is pretty handy. If you want to just look at just like the different types of things, if you do Searchsploit-T and then like Windows, it'll narrow it down a little bit for you. So what if we put in Windows 11? Now we're going to see some things that are Windows 11 and it's spelled out here, and then in other ones it might be over here like Windows and then 2011. But by using the -T for type, it narrows it down a little bit, and it's kind of keeping you a little more generically isolated to Windows. Whereas if you just type in without that T, I think it's just giving us a lot more stuff, because anytime it sees Windows, it's going to grab it. So with Windows 10, it's trying to narrow it down to the Windows operating system and version 10 or 11 or whichever you type in. So that's it. Pretty handy. Having the exploits already on the laptop. And like I say, many people don't know this. So it's very useful. If you got any questions, feel free to reach out and ask them in the comments. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. And we'll see you again on another one of these.